Hey gamers, life is hard, so today I want to break down some games that have helped me through some of the toughest times of my life. Let's get started. Number one has to be Skyrim. It is one of the most deep immersive worlds there is. I remember at that point in my life I had broken up and I was trying to get over it, and this is a game that just dropped you into this amazing world and you are free to do whatever you wanted. I think one of the coolest things is that with most of these kind of games, I started playing off with magic, and then I moved into archery, and there was a little bit of everything involved. And when you were in the map, you could go whatever direction you wanted, and there were so many interesting quests, and not to forget Lydia as well. I think this was the first game in my entire life that I put 100 plus hours into, if I remember correctly. It's about 180 hours. Not to mention, I didn't even get to any of the DLC. I didn't do any modding at that time. I played this game on day one when it launched, like 2 hours a day, and it just absolutely wowed me. At that point in my life, it just totally made me forget what I was going through. And then afterwards, I actually felt a lot better. So this goes back into what Antoine always talks about is modding. But even in 2024, this is on my list of games I would like to go back to and play through and finish the DLC and put in some of the story mods, because this game has at least another 400 to 500 hours of content. Number two has to be the game I'm playing at the moment, which is Coral Island, which to me is the epitome of cozy life sim farming games. It's just beautiful. It has this Disney art. Check out some of the other videos on the Middle Age Gaming channel where I talk about it. But it's low stress. There are no tasks that you have to do. I think I have 4 or 5 side quests on Coral Island that I have not done and I'd like to do. There are things every day you get to do what you want to. There's no notification like saying, hey, you have to do this, or hey, you have to do this, or a reminder saying, hey, if you don't do this, blah, blah, blah will happen. This is a game that just lets you do what you want, and it's this beautiful sort of island environment, very reminiscent of Hawaii or Bali if you're in Southeast Asia. Very relaxing. It's got all the usual things, right? Farming and mining, and it's got diving as well. And in Coral Island, they just released a merfolk update, so you get to meet mermaids, which are pretty cool as well. This is just a very low stress, immersive game where if your life is not great in the real world, this is a game that's going to help you forget it. I remember I was playing this one of the weeks where I was quite stressed out at work, and as I was playing this, I was quite teary-eyed because I was like, oh my god, I really want to live in Coral Island. I want to have this kind of very simple life. But unfortunately, that is not for everybody. So I have to keep going with the regular life. But if you are looking for that, like an imagination of what your life could be, this is definitely a game to check out. Number 3 is Shadow of Mordor. Shadow of Mordor is way better than the second game. I hope they make a third game at some point, but Shadow of Mordor was this Lord of the Rings story, and I'm not someone who read the books. I watched the movies, I don't remember them. I'm watching the TV show at the moment, but this is a game. The guy who plays, Celebrimbor, right? Andy Serkis. He's a very famous voice actor. You would know him from playing Gollum or a bunch of other things, but in this video game, there are a bunch of moments in the game where he has this like very angry, aggressive voice. And you're like, oh my god, this like fills you with adrenaline and electricity. And you're like, yes, I want to take revenge for my wife who's dead, which happens in the game. Sorry about the spoiler. But the game is just absolutely impressive. The Nemesis system was the most unique gaming system that's ever been introduced in my lifetime for me. Anyway, Adam and Antoine might disagree, but it's just impressive. It's a game that sort of makes you fill out your revenge fantasies, where it's like if you're fighting orcs and if you don't cut off their heads, they will come back and come after you, and or you're going after Sauron and revenge, and it's just makes you feel good. And the way Celebrimbor talks, like when he accomplishes a task, or the way when he brainwashes somebody, it's amazing. Sometimes I'll just watch the YouTube videos of that just to get my giggles, for a lack of a better expression. But yeah, and another amazing choice. This is, again, depends on the mood you're in. Definitely consider that. Number 4, Gone Home. I don't remember why I was playing this game or when I was playing this game. It was many years ago. And I remember this was the first video game, and I never played this kind of game when I was growing up. My younger brother played adventure video games. My older brother did as well. I never played this kind of game. I played RTS games growing up, Civilization, that sort of stuff, a little bit of shooters. But this was the first time I tried this sort of game. And this game really opened me up to adventure, puzzle games. And it was the first game where I cried because it was just so moving, so emotional, and it just got you. And sometimes, like, you might be bottled up, you might have a lot of things going on in your life, and you're like, you might need something to just help you open up. And this is, again, another very easygoing, cozy game, not as stressful, but it's a game that makes you think about your life, your family, your friends, where you're going. And it just broke me in a good way, So definitely consider it. It is definitely the most emotional game on today's list. Number 5, Ticket to Ride. This is my favorite board game, perhaps in real life, but definitely online, like video game wise. I remember when I was still teaching English at that point, I remember asking my students, like, do you want to have a pizza party? Do you want to play games? They were like, yeah, we want to play board games. So I started buying board games. And I bought this and I tried it out with some students and they liked it. And I liked it at that point. And then I bought it on Steam and I'm like, oh my God, this is really fun. I think this is a board game where I spent 30 hours playing this online with people just because it's interesting. There's so many different strategies. There's so many different ways to do things. And the games are fast and people don't really take a lot of time for their turns. But it's just a very simple game. It's easy to master, but it's very difficult to be very good at it. Definitely check that out. Buy the real board game as well if you have time for board games in life. I unfortunately do not anymore, but this is a game that, again, easy. It's going to help you forget what's going on in your life. It's going to help you get over things. And my final suggestion for today, what do you guys think of today's list? Are the games that I left out? Are the games I should have added? Am I wrong about some of these? Please let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And stay tuned for next week where I come up with another top 5 video.